Hey everybody. So I was able to get a few minutes in today, even though we're preparing and bracing for Hurricane Ian. Hopefully no damages will ensue. But I wanted to film a quick little video with regards to non-scale victories. So I'm working with a lot of clients. Most of the time they want to drop body fat, and there's a lot of troubleshooting, especially with the beginning phase of a weight loss diet for somebody who doesn't have as much experience, or their perspective regarding what it actually takes to drop body fat is not really accurate. And so they think they're working hard. And in the past, they've done those kinds of diets where they thought they were working hard and then they slipped off and then they've tried again. And so when they come to me to work to drop body fat, I have to kind of reset a different standard, a different baseline for what it actually takes to drop body fat and what it actually takes to guarantee results. Because we can all lose weight in 1, 2, 3 weeks. But then if we're not really working at the level that is needed, eventually that initial burst of motivation usually drops off. And one of the biggest ways we can prevent that from happening is, of course, increasing our work ethic, but also paying attention to what the non-scale victories are. So what are non-scale victories? Non-scale victories are paying attention to the habits that we're creating. So even if I have a week where I haven't dropped body fat, or a client hasn't dropped body fat, most people, the general consensus is that it's not working. I get demotivated, and because of that, I get emotional and I start emotional eating, and that compounds the problem, because obviously eating crap or additional calories is not gonna get you any closer to your goal, right? And so what I want to do here is reframe what has happened in that 1 week, right? And so if in that 1 week we've done 90% of the goals, we've hit 90% of the goals, but we did not actually drop on the weight, on the scale, what are some of the things that we've learned? If we can look at that week and see what we learned, that can be a powerful victory, and that increases our skill in losing body fat. And so, for example, waking up and going to sleep on time, if we've done that in that week, that is a non-scale victory. That has fundamentally rewired your brain so that the next time, the next week you're doing that weight loss diet, you don't have to spend extra effort and willpower reserves to wake up on time. You've already created that habit in your brain, right? And so that's one non-scale victory, right? And if we just focus on that, then we know we've actually improved our process. And so even though the result wasn't there, our process got better. And if we can just focus on process, this is what every single major successful entrepreneur, fitness model, any person who has ever succeeded in anything, they will always tell you your focus should be on the process, not on the end result. Because if you keep your focus on the process, like for example, the non-scale victories, eventually it is inevitable that you will find the result, because one non-scale victory over another, over another, over another leads to compounded interest. It compounds upon itself. And eventually it's just inevitable that you are going to see consistent weight loss or fat loss on the scale. Not that the scale is the best measure of weight loss, but you know what I mean. So waking up and going to sleep on time is a great one. Flexing your willpower muscle. So in that week, even though you may not have seen any drop in weight, did you actually feel like you deployed discipline multiple times? Every time you deploy it, the area of your brain that has to do with discipline, which is this prefrontal cortex, specifically called the anterior cingulate cortex, that area in your brain rewires itself to become thicker and and the connections become thicker and better connected. And so it becomes easier for you to tap into your willpower muscle the next time, right? Just like you get stronger muscles, you actually get a stronger willpower neuronal connection. so it doesn't feel as painful the next time you deploy discipline. And this is how you become more disciplined. This is how you build mental strength. And so if you've built mental strength in that week, even if you've had one bad meal that offset the weight drop, you've built a significant amount of strength, right, in your brain, and that's not going to go away. So the next week you build more on top of that, and the week after that, and so this is how you keep progressing. Another non-scale victory is, let's say, if you, let's say, binged or emotionally ate, you can learn to go keto right after that. Most of the time, binges and emotional eating happens with carbohydrates. So if you can just learn to go keto right after that transition, even if you're not creating calorie deficit, just go in keto. Just that is a win. The more you practice doing that, the less eventually you'll eat carbs, and the less eventually you'll stay on that carb train for days in a row. It becomes very hard to uncover that damage. Tracking, if you tracked your food in MyFitnessPal consistently, if you've woken up at 4 o'clock, let's say, every morning consistently, all those things, those are habits that become easier and easier to maintain. Tracking number of steps, even if you know you're not dropping weight that week, but you've tracked your steps every single day consistently. That's fantastic. You cannot manage what you don't measure, right? You can't get better if you don't know where you're at with regards to your caloric intake, with regards to how many steps you're taking per day. All that kind of stuff. If you've set boundaries and you've protected your priorities, if you've eliminated toxic relationships. So even though you didn't have a weight loss that week, but you eliminated a toxic relationship from your life, that for sure is a positive in eventually reaching your fitness goals, right? That's going to stay there. Meal prepping habits, tracking water intake, lifting progressively heavier weights, right? That additional stress and stimulus on your muscle eventually is going to lead to stronger muscles that next week when you do follow the meal plan better. So yeah, this is all just to say that success is not linear, right? And a lot of the time we find minimal progress until the compounding effect reaches the tipping point, and this is where we get momentum at an exponential rate. And so the best thing that you would want to do is to stick to the course with a new lifestyle plan and constantly work on installing the above mentioned habits. That's going to guarantee eventual success. This is what every person who's ever achieved their fitness goals or won in entrepreneurship can tell you. It's never linear progress. It's always you go up, you go down, sometimes you go backwards, and then you go back up again. And so keep that bigger picture in mind and focus on the process and celebrate those non-scale victories. The more you can layer non-scale victory after another, the greater and greater and greater the chances that you are actually going to achieve your optimal fitness goals. I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell icon so YouTube alerts you every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.